Good morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scouser's morning coffee or tea with American Scouser. It's Wednesday. I put in the shifts. Greatest dad in the world. Back to being number one. So getting that job done. Actually, I'm really liking this coffee. I was gonna say it's Colombian, but I don't know if this is the Colombian one.
It's
Now
delicious.
it's really good. That doesn't look
So
American.
yeah,
I know what you're gonna say. Then it's Colombian, but because there was one that was Hawaii. I don't know if the other one was Colombia or Peru or what, but I just got them and like I'm really happy with them. But we have Adri here with the Colombian coffee. What's happening?
yes, absolutely. Still having my Colombian coffee because my mom got me like tons and tons of it. So yes.
Oh, that's right. But finally, you shipped the family away.
See? No, no, no. I mean, I love him. I really enjoy having him, like my dad and my mom and everyone. But like, yeah, holidays could be, geez, like super stressing and like. But it's amazing. Like at the end of the story, the house is empty and you're like yeah, but at some point you're
Oh,
gonna feel the
I
pain.
always felt like when you have family over, especially like you're like, and like I'm like like they're coming from far away. I mean, Gary is the same way. Like it's a huge travel, blah blah blah. It's great. I'm sure like my girls are saying the same thing about us now, but like it's great. But then one day, after a while, you're like, yeah, this is why I live by myself, and we don't we don't all live in the same house anymore, kind of thing. So when they leave, yeah,
Yeah.
there's like a oh, but there's at the same time there's like a
But now
going at the
you
same
are
time.
you are on the other side too. So probably at some point you're also like, I want to go home now. It's just like how can I touch this? Where's everything? That
Yeah, true. You missed the home comfort zone. Speaking of the home comforts, we have Gary from Crossing the Pond, who just did cross the pond and crossed it back over. How's it going, man?
I'm all right, mate. I haven't got coffee. Because I went back home, I got a cup of soup. So I'm sorry. That's why I've got the massive cup. So I'm
Wait, wait,
smashing
wait.
the cup.
What kind of soup is that?
It's just like a spicy chicken thing, but it's out of the packet. So there's nothing organic about it. But I love them. So when I go back to England, I just grab a load of them from out of the Asda and just bring them back.
Why
So
is
yeah,
that
that's
not a
me.
thing over here? You know what? Now that you mentioned that, that was a thing that I used to do like back home and then in England. Like they had like that. There is like a little tomato one too. That was like my favorite that you would put
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Why is that? Is that invention here that I have not?
I think it is, but you know the amount of stuff they put in things here that
True.
are a little bit
Maybe I
random.
grew out of it too. Yeah, you're
Doesn't
like
taste the same. Yeah, I grew out of it. Thanks.
when you're emptying out the packet. I remember towards the end, you're like, "This just not right."
I think it's just one of those. I think it's one of those university college things that just never left me. Stuck to my roots a little bit. But yeah, I get your point about family and everything else. Like I went home for about 6 days over Christmas, and you go there long enough to realize why you moved away in the first place. So yeah, I can definitely get on board with that.
oops. I hope
Luckily, no
I'm not
families watching this.
I was gonna say that. Like
I'll tell them to the face. They know me well enough by now.
I mean,
they
obviously,
know,
there's
they
a
know.
reason why
They
we
do
moved
know, yeah.
away. Dude, there's no, yeah, Turkish coffee is only good after like dinner or late evening or afternoon or something like that. It's not really, first of all, it's like this much. That's not going to cut the mustard, regardless of how strong it is. But yeah, plus it's not like a conversation. It's a conversational one if you're just like chilling and having it on the side. It's almost like the 5 o'clock tea thing of like Gary's old country there. Is there like is it coffee over there in Adri? Like if I go to a Colombian house around like 3, 4 in the afternoon, what are they serving me for the afternoon action?
Yeah,
Is it
definitely.
coffee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every single time of the day is coffee. We
Like an
don't.
espresso? Is that what they're serving me? Like an espresso
No,
or
we use what like these like North Americans call Americano, So it's like espresso
with water?
with water.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like that's like the easiest way to explain it. But yeah, we drink coffee every single time of the day, like all
This
day
is
long.
sad to admit, but we fall into these YouTube holes with Angie, and I literally just found out what Americano was. Like I thought it was some kind of a special concoction. time, like if I go, I'm like, oh, you know what? I like an Americano. I'll take an Americano.
It's a watery.
With water.
It's a watery espresso.
I was like, oh, that's why I like it, because I feel like I like espressos, but it's just not enough. So Americano basically makes it here's some water. I'll add to it so that you can have like more coffee, kind of a thing. So
and we call it tinto.
What is it
for us in Colombia? Tinto, like tinto.
Tinto. Okay.
Tinto.
I gotta write
That's
this
our
down.
coffee.
What was the other one? Chapoletas? What was it? I have it written somewhere here. Oh, that's what it was. Okay. John isn't here to throw that at him, but okay, Gary, I want to start with you because you went to the other side, because I want to ask you guys where you guys are at with this team now, in terms of how positive, if positive, and all that kind of stuff. But Gary, you went over there. Were you at the Wolves game?
I went to the Wolves game on the 27th. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't want to sound like I've been to Anfield a number of times, so I don't want to sound ungrateful, but the atmosphere was quite flat. It's a strange atmosphere. And as far as watching us now, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's a plan to a certain extent. And then I think I've mentioned this to you before, and I don't know if anyone's talked about it previously this week, is we have a plan to a certain point, but we get 30 yards from goal, and then it's almost like so intricate that if it doesn't quite work, then we're on the back foot straight away. And you only have to look at the example I can give you that worked, and albeit it was against Barnsley, no disrespect them, but if you look at the goal where they're trying to find a way, it goes into Ekitike, and he, a little bit of a round the corner back heel, and then was it Wirtz that scored that goal?
Yep.
Brilliant. And it was brilliant, right? And the potential to do that is there. But the problem is teams will just drop on us now, and they just drop and park everyone in front. Sunderland did a great job of it. Even Wolves did a great job of it. They just stayed connected, stayed compact, and we just could not break them down. And it took, ironically enough, the right back playing right wing just to do something completely off the cuff, and which was drive past their left back and pull it back for Gravenberch for the goal. But I'd like to think it's a system, but I really think it's like, right, we're going to do this and do this, which other teams are allowing us to do because they're dropping off. And then when we get to the final third, it's so pretty. Like, look at the goal that Szoboszlai scored the other day from outside the box. Why aren't we doing that more often? Why isn't that a threat to draw people out? It's almost as if, and there was another moment in the second half where, to contradict that, where we're constantly trying to play that final pass, one extra final pass. Like, there was a little link up where Ekitike played it, or someone played it over the top to Ekitike, and Ali McCoist was on the comms, which I don't mind Ali McCoist, but he was talking about it, and he said, why didn't he just hit it? And in my head, I was like, why didn't he just hit it? And I know this has got nothing to do with the Wolves game, and I've completely gone off on a tangent already. but my point is, we're trying to be too intricate in the final third, and I don't know if that is part of the plan or if that is just we're running out of ideas, or we don't have that level of knowledge yet. Because I feel like I'm always going to bring it back to him, but with Klopp, you kind of knew, get it forward as fast as you can, and then we'll try and figure, and then we'll just be movement and runs and energy and madness all over the place, which I don't see it with this team, and I don't know if that's by design or if that's just lack of ideas, which is pretty condescending given that every single coach in the Premier League is a top coach, and they know that they're good practitioners. They know what they're talking about. It's just, find it very frustrating to watch it at Anfield, and the crowd feed off it as well. And there was a few things in there that I've got plenty of things to rant about, but sorry, Adri, I know I've only just met you, but you probably just think I'm just pure noise and nonsense. I'm going to throw this out there right now. The Chiesa thing, I'm so glad he started, but I'm also so glad he got dragged off on 55, because he's not it, mate. He's not the answer. He's Darwin Núñez. He is Divock Origi. He is that sort of chaos level that comes on later in the game.
Yeah, I've been saying this. I've been screaming this for a long time now. Is it's different coming into a game last 10 minutes where the other team is in full panic and full defensive mode anyway. So it's a lot better, easier to be involved. He's like, he was involved in everything. Well, yeah, because they're like in the box, like they're really reeling right now, kind of a thing. But see, that's the interesting thing. And I know now I'm just like gonna get Adri going over here. But to me, because everybody says it's by design. I don't know if it's by design or sometimes I feel like, look, like not having Trent there, I think is by design. Like not playing these balls over the top, all these runs being made, just being wasted. That might be by design. But I feel like what we're missing is people who would go, and now we're finding more and more that slots, even if he was okay with Diaz being sold, he wanted a replacement of a same type of guy. Like we see what Frimpong, you were talking about, Gary, on the right-hand side is doing. It feels like there is no threats in terms of a winger. When we isolate him on the sides, Gakpo, like even if everybody knows Gakpo is going to try to cut inside like 90% of the time. So Frimpong is the only guy. You need someone who's going to threaten to go behind, take you down to the line and stuff. Your boy, Diaz, who I just saw a video of him dancing, which is, I have to admit, do you find his dad extremely annoying as well, or is it just me?
No, yeah, all of us. All of us. He was terrible in the transfer window. He was horrible, horrendous. With the Barcelona thing and all that shit, it was like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, no, it was super annoying. Like, we don't like him at all. He's so
okay, yeah, because I literally just saw a video. I think it was on Fabrizio, like him. It's his birthday. He's dancing, and I was like, "Oh God, his dad is there too." So I'm not watching it anymore. Why can't he do what we do? And after a while, just ship him away. You know?
No, I know. And the guy is he's obsessed with his son, of course. Just that's totally normal. But the fact that I think at some point after the Liverpool, like this transfer window that just happened, I'm pretty sure Luis Diaz kind of like draw a line between like those decisions and his dad because it was awful and he just like there was a lot of damage for everyone because of this person that like had no business on it, at some point. Like it's not the manager, it's not like it's nobody, it's the dad. And he's just like enjoying Luis Diaz money. That's it, and success. So it's like a little bit of respect. We don't like him at all.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure I wasn't the only one because I just find him extremely
Yeah, no.
annoying. Like even when he was a Liverpool player. But going back to your guy, I mean, I feel like that's what we're missing. So to me, more than the system, it's kind of like some of the players that we don't have those players in the system. It feels like, or do they just not have the freedom, Adri, to do whatever? Because a lot of these guys can take a
It's
player
just
on. They're just deciding not to.
as Gary just said, I think it's just unclear. It's still, I remember saying at the end of the year, maybe let's just give him more time to have the entire squad like healthy and ready to go because maybe his plan at some point is gonna shift, it's gonna work. But now I don't know if he has like a lot of people and he doesn't know where to put everyone, or it's so confusing. It's at this point I'm just like I honestly I feel like do not have any clue of like what's going on. Besides like yeah, we're missing like our wingers and someone
Yeah.
that is just trying to find a quick and fast solution from the sides and just like not being so predictable like Gakpo, but just like make I don't know, like there's some hints of it with the last move that I think it was Seki TK with the last goal. What was it? And
Weird.
Beards or
Yeah, they
something like
went back
that?
and forth twice. Yeah.
Yes, that was like, okay, well, that would be nice to see again. But besides that, I don't see that we can find any solution from that side. And then, oh, hello?
No, you're there.
Oh,
Something fell,
okay.
it sounded like, but you're still there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just and I also or all of us like the Reds, we thought like Chiesa could be the answer because he was just like making that solution at the end of the games, but suddenly he's starting, and as Gary said, yeah, he's not the solution either.
I never thought because he doesn't have the speed either. It's almost like we don't have speed. And you can tell the difference when, like, Diaz had the speeds and like the agility and stuff. Like what we lost, you know, with like Sadio, you got, I mean, because obviously most speed has dropped over time. He's become more like a facilitator and stuff. Now you see Frimpong and you can see what speed does. But here's my thing, Adri, I'm not, Gary. It's in terms of getting like really, hold on, let me figure out the sounds. It was coming from you, Gary. I don't know what happened there, but
it might have been my mic. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Now we're good. It sounded like a motor running in the background. But no, here's what I was going to ask you. Everybody says like this is so much boring. I mean, aside from Diaz, I feel like it's actually the same as last year, but it becomes, people view it as more boring because we're not winning. So obviously when you're not winning, when you're trying, it's boring. When we were winning last year, 1-0, 2-0, it was a lot of fun. Whereas though I thought it was about the same, except personnel. You had a guy like Diaz maybe doing some crazy things that was out of, you know, what the rest of the team does. What is the feeling at like Anfield for like the whole slot thing? Because I see the worst of it, I think, in social media. And then you see them chanting Slot's name. But is that just for, I don't want to say for show, but that's just for, yeah, we're behind you, but let's get this going kind of a thing? Or are people really still behind the manager over there?
I don't think Liverpool are a club that are the sort of people. I mean, you don't hear it a lot, do you? They're not overly vocal about getting managers sacked. They will stick by people and work through things. But the problem, I mean, the difference is between you're not getting the connection, are you? There's not the connection that you had with the last manager. So it's difficult to judge. And I think people will be behind him, but they do, I think I'd agree with you there where people do want to start seeing something like a plan, like an idea, a consistency. Or so, you know, like, listen, when we get in this situation, chances are we're going to do this, or we're going to do something like this. Or we're going to go outside a player, or we're going to go inside a player, or this player is going to make a run. I don't think we see that. And it's funny, I was in the Sandon before the game, and I was talking to and he's actually an old player of mine, but he's a big fan. He goes to every game. And he's saying, if you look at some of the movement patterns of some of the players, like during the build-up, Kirkes very rarely goes across the halfway line, or he doesn't go as high as the winger. Whereas if you look at him playing for Hungary, you'd think he was a winger. He's gone all the time. It's a lot more patient. But the problem for us is we're not able to break teams down because it takes so long for us to get anywhere. And if you've not got players creating chaos and running beyond and displacing other players in the defensive system, it becomes very frustrating very quickly. So I don't think the tide's going to turn just yet. But, you know, I think he's going to people are going to start questioning it if they're not questioning it already quietly, which I was going to say that.
But when you go to the stadium, like as you watch the game, are people like, I don't know, like in the background, like you know, like how you hear sample voices? Are people like, you're like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing? Or
sometimes there's screams of, like, I heard a lot of urgency shouts, like, come on, get it, you know, get us going, get us. And I'm not saying, I know some people want the like absolute razzle dazzle, heavy metal madness of last time or the last couple of years, but it's definitely shouts of get a move on, to put it politely. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, do things a little bit faster, because all the goals we're scoring at the moment are either like obvious breaks or other teams' mistakes. We're not really breaking teams down, are we, per se? And I think that's the frustration, you know, like just bit of effort, bit of energy. Because, you know, Liverpool fans, they love someone who's going to run around like a maniac and cause trouble and get people off seats, but it's not really happening. And I found the atmosphere quite flat. I mean, listen, for a game that was the first time that Wolves and Liverpool have played against each other since the Jota incident, it was flat. You know, there's a little bit of singing backwards and forwards, and that was well received. And obviously his kids walked out. But it wasn't like games I've been to before where they get the ball and everyone's like, what is going to happen now? It's like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to build up. We're going to get to this point. And if something brilliant might happen, but 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen. And then we're going to end up defending again. And that's kind of the mood. It was a very flat one for me this time.
It just it feels like that, and I always go. It must be a lot of tourists there, right, Gary? Because that's
Well, that was it. Yeah, people out of country like myself. You know, these just ragtags getting
damn
tickets.
foreigners.
I know, foreigners everywhere.
But no, I think the thing is, yeah, like when we win the ball in the back, you can literally say right now, Adri, well, I got 15 seconds to look at my phone, I guess, because we're not going to be attacking fast anytime soon. By the time we go to the other side and set that arc, like where we surround the goal, it's going to be another 15, 20 seconds. So you can check your messages real quick. Because there is no, I see so many times where I can understand the slow build-up. I'm not one of these guys that says sideways, backways passing, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's part of building up and breaking down a team. But I see so many runs that, he was gone. Like, you can see it, like he was gone. But I feel like people along the back, or even if McAllister drops or Gravenberg, if somebody, they don't even look for those runs. Like nobody's taking the chance of any of those runs. And when you don't run behind somebody, it's very easy to defend. And I was a defender. It's very easy to defend when there's nobody gonna realize everything is right in front of you. It's a lot easier to defend things. Is it like, is it confidence? Because I see also like there are times where we win the ball in midfield. You're like, okay, let's go. Like now we finally got him. Where it's 4v5 or something like that at these, as opposed to all 11 of them being inside the box. But no, we wait again. You can check your messages again because we're gonna take our time, make the arc again, and then start like attacking. Is it confidence, Adri? Is it the system? What the hell is it? Like, why do they play so slow?
we all like we. I want to say just first one thing about Slot, and I'm still backing him. What really bothers me is the lack of accountability, and I think that when he's just giving interviews, like this freaking ego, and like I think that at some point that makes a really bad impact in the team, in the dressing room, I'm sure, because it's like the message behind is like, this is not my freaking fault, right? Whatever, like, I'm so sorry, like from 10 interviews in 9, he's like absolutely lost, and he's not like the leader that I would like to see if I were a player, but well, whatever. And from the
Okay,
other
no,
side,
because you said that. I do want to. So I think part of it is being Dutch. But is it because like
but
we want to
still,
see
like,
someone get more emotional and frustrated because we're frustrated? Because he feels like it's really calm, and it's almost like we're saying like we're gonna go bankrupt. This company is going down, and he's like, I don't know. I'm looking at the spreadsheets over here. Doesn't look that bad to me. Kind of like an environment where we're like, why aren't you panicking like we are? Is that why like he doesn't show emotion? Like more than what he says, is it just you being Colombian and everything? You just want somebody
no,
who's gonna be like, God damn it,
stop.
I don't know
No,
why
it's
it's not
not
working.
panicking. I don't need him to just like, be like, yeah, we're the worst and we're terrible, and I don't know, I don't have idea what am I doing. But like there's clearly something going on that he knows, like, maybe I'm just trying this and that, and it's not happening. But like there's like zero concern of him trying to explain to the fans what the heck is going on. And I understand he's just like a cold Dutch person that he doesn't give a shit. I'm sorry about us, but he's just like practical and just trying to make
Yeah.
this work. But like, I mean, this is football, and the Liverpool fan base is just huge, and we're part of Liverpool. That's what I mean. And I'm not trying to be. I don't want him to cry in front of the camera, like that's not what I mean. It's just like explain a little bit what's going on. Like he's always like, so whatever, bye. Like he, it's like, okay, with the Salah situation. I mean, I understand he needed to be just calm and center and collected, but it was also like a little bit like, ooh, like, man, really? It was disrespectful, as Salah was disrespectful too, you know?
Mhm.
But again, it's obviously, I mean, it's not only about Salah's ego, but there's something going on. Like, it's not the first time that Salah, like, yeah, it happened with club too, but
Yeah.
not at this level, you know? So I don't know.
No, that's fair, I guess. I don't know where are you at with that, Gary. I think a lot of it is because he feels like he looks, like I say, he's looking at the spreadsheets and is like, I don't know, looks like everything is working except this. Like somehow we're not putting money on the bottom line. Otherwise, everything else looks good, kind of a deal.
I think I might have said this before to you, but like I think the way that football managers now, or coaches as they're now called, are perceived. Like I think his specific job is to be a coach. Now it's not what we're used to, because we're used to this person like a Kenny Dalglish or a Jurgen Klopp, or even when in the end of the 90s with Houllier and Benitez, like early 2000s, we had this figurehead of the club and they were the figurehead of the club. But I don't think that's what he is. I think he's generally there to be a head coach. And I think he's not going to get that level of passion because his remit is to do this. And if you were to ask, I bet if we were to ask him, because I'm sure he listens to this and watches this. So if we were to get him on the show, obviously, but like,
no brainer. Yeah. Why wouldn't he?
But like, if you were to ask him, he'd say, well, you know, you look at the data, we've had our XG is up there and we're doing this and we're doing that. And we've been a little bit unlucky with players because they've got injured. But I genuinely think it's just black and white. This is what it is. Well, and this is what we're going to try and do to fix it. And this is what it is. And that is just, it's translating from the players to us. Because like you've just said then, Adri, it's this, you're dead right. Like we want, like Liverpool kind of want passion, don't they? They want this. But unfortunately, and I don't think it's just Liverpool either. I think it's happening to Man United. I think it's happening to Chelsea. I think it's happening to other teams in the Prem where it's other people who are working the club from the background like puppets. And I think these head coaches are coming in. They're just head coaches. They haven't got the sort of panache or like attitude of a Klopp or a Mourinho or even I say Benitez again because I loved him, but even though he was very matter of fact, he was also very passionate and he had that control over the club. I don't think we get that from Slot, but that's kind of the trade-off now. If you want a Michael Edwards who's going to buy all the players, then you're not going to be able to have a Jurgen Klopp because there's going to be, and clearly there's going to be headbutting. So I think we've just kind of got to get used to the way that it is. But obviously it doesn't help when we've not got results on the field because no one was questioning this last year, were they? They just thought he was this cool character, wore his little zip up and his blazer jacket and he looked sharp. And I'm vouching for other baldies in the world when I'm saying this. So like, he's a man after my own heart. But the point I'm trying to make is like, it's not the same and it's not going to be the same. And I think if you look at the way football is now with these managers, like the two lads, the lad at United, Amarim wanted and obviously don't want to talk about them too much, give them too much spotlight, but he wanted a little bit of autonomy for himself. No, that's not going to work. And now all of a sudden, Jason Wilcox is in the argument and he's now come to the fore. Same thing at Chelsea. Maresca wanted something. It wasn't going to work out. He's gone. They've got someone else in who was coaching in the French. He was 7th in the French league. I think that's what the landscape of football is now. But back to the point, I just don't think we're going to get that level of come on, lads, from him. He'll say some funny quips and he'll back everything he says with data, but I don't think you're going to get the passion, which is something we've kind of got to get used to if this is what it's going to be for the time being.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is a personality thing for one. I am actually okay with the coach versus the other guys thing in some ways. I think it's better for the club in the long run. Because if one person has all the power to save their ass, they might do some short-term decision-making that's going to bite you in the ass in the long run once you can them kind of thing. So I think in terms of checks and balances, I kind of like that. But, it's better than, for example, what United did and said, yeah, you're a manager, but actually you're the coach, but we're going to call you the manager. And that's why, he did the Portuguese resignation press conference and then like he was fired and stuff. We were talking about that last time with Edib actually on like Rival Bros. That was just like a resignation press conference and stuff anyway. But I mean, I know I keep going back to, I agree, Adri, and I think this, when we said it last year after Klopp, this was the right person to bring in terms of temperament, because you were not going to out Klopp, so you had to bring almost the opposite. Because anybody who's going to try to be Klopp was not going to give you the same thing. Is it like when the results were there, we never complained about this guy is too calm last year. So is it just result based?
in my personal opinion, I'm not a slot out person. First of all, I just want to just make this
Record straight.
statement. Yes, I'm not.
Noted.
Like,
Yeah.
I just, even when Xavi left Real Madrid, I just made a video on social media, like kind of like happy, and I was like, I'm leaving you this to open interpretation to my followers. And it was divided. Some of people, you're a slot out, and I'm like, it's open to your interpretation. And honestly, I was just happy about uh, seeing Real Madrid just like the Titanic, you know? That was the point. That was my point. I'm explaining it right now. I'm not a slot out person. It's just like I feel, and he needs more time, and just seeing what it's happening to Man United and to the same Real Madrid is like, no, no, no. More than ever, this guy needs to stay, you know? If we are really looking for a long-term plan, and we're having like these spectacular, amazing players now that we got from the last summer transfer. That needs to work. That's going
Yeah.
to work. We just need more time. I'm just saying. From the first moment I saw Zlatan, I was like, I don't like him as a person, as you know, as a leader, as an
He's
emotional leader,
very
or as a
anti-Colombian. Yes.
yeah, exactly. And it's yeah, I mean, what can I say? I follow football because I'm a passionate person, and I love that, and I love to be, that's what drags me to, like, maybe all these thoughts and stuff. And yeah, what happened with Luis Diaz, I know it's not even Slot's fault, because at some point I remembered he said, I wanted him to stay. It wasn't my decision, kind of. But I was like, yeah, but you were just like putting Gakpo there at the time. So really? Well, whatever. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, it bothers me, like the coldness on the press conference and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm torn on that because I get it. I definitely get it, and I do like. I'm probably more Colombian than Dutch. As a Turkish person, Mediterranean, so I get that
You
concept.
better.
Gary is probably more Dutch, I would think, than Colombian. You
I think
come
so.
across like that too, Gary.
I'm
Right?
being profiled now. Jeez,
Yeah.
because I got a baldy head.
Yeah, we should
Sexual
do a
harassment in
scale,
England,
like
that, you
from
know.
Dutch to Colombian. Where are you?
On the scale, I've got to be somewhere in the middle. I'm not as I am detailed oriented, but I'm also a bit reckless. So does that put me in?
Okay.
Wow, that was shots fired to Colombian equaling.
No, nothing against Colombians whatsoever.
But in some ways, like you want, like I get that, but as a player, right? Because Adri was mentioning like some of those things can be frustrating to the players to hear. Do you want someone as a manager? I'm kind of like torn on this myself, but as a man, like, do you want a manager who is more saying, hey, we're doing the right things, it's eventually going to happen, this is one thing we got to work on, we got to create chances, everything else, we're getting there, guys, calm down? Because that's the press conferences I'm getting right now. Look at the numbers and stuff. But yes, Uribe, that's what you've matched with me, bro. I don't know. Yeah, come on, Ozan. I'm not big on the Uribe thing. Timoteo Uribe.
Oh, yeah, no,
right?
we
That's
don't
not
want
good.
that last name around.
Yeah, we don't want. Yeah, I'm not big on Uribe. Yeah, but but I mean, what do you think about that, Gary? Like, do you think that's better for the players to have a guy who is basically doesn't look as frustrated as we want him to? Because I agree. Like, I kind of want him to be a bit more frustrated too, but is there something to the calmness of the leader saying, we got this?
Yeah, I definitely think there is, but I would like to see it a little bit less robotic. I think a lot of things that connect people, like just in general, civilization, and is just an honesty and a realism. So if if you're pissed off, oh my God, yeah, a bit of a nightmare, but this is what the plan is. I understand, you can come in and show a little bit of emotion. I'm not saying, just be fuming every single time you walk into a press conference because it didn't work out. But at the same time, make it a bit realistic. Yeah, that wasn't, wasn't great. Not happy about it. Probably going to go and have a cup of tea and a smoke when I get back in the. But just just this is what we've got to work on. And I like the fact that, and I think the players will appreciate it as well, especially because we have got a Dutch core of players as well. They'll appreciate the sort of data-driven conversations that he's probably having with people. But I think I would like to see just a little bit of, realism, like Joe on the street kind of mentality, where like, this is what, it's like sometimes Klopp will come in and just be like and then he'd go into something, or he'd crack a joke and he'd do something else. I just like a little bit of that, just to show that maybe it is, not that it's getting to him, but that he's affected by it a little bit as well, so we can share in his frustrations. But I like the fact that he's got a plan. He definitely does. And let's look at the reality of it as well. And I've said this a million times. I sound like a broken record. If you'd have asked me this in November, listen, in January, we'd have been unbeaten in 9, through to the next round of the FA Cup, in a good spot in the Champions League, and we're 4th in the league. And we've got Burnley at home on Saturday. You'd have took that in November when we were getting walloped or slapped every week. And I think that's what we've got to look at, perspective. And that'll always be his argument. It's like, listen, we're okay. We're doing all right. We're clearly building. And, freak injury to Isak. So there's other players who have come and going, like getting injured. The Bradley one the other day, again, was just really unfortunate. I mean, the kid's cleared it and he's gone down funny on his leg. I mean, these things don't happen in the normal course of a season. But, I think I'm happy with we're working towards something, because there's no point getting frustrated, because, again, it goes back to that question, who would you get? And I know everyone's going to say Xabi Alonso, but,
I like, what is, aside from being an ex-player, like I loved like some of the discussions that was happening, like I see in social media around Discord and stuff like that. Everybody's like, well, he won the Bundesliga. Okay, like Slot won the Premier League. So I'm not understanding, like, that one. But I think it's like a lot of about, we romanticize about ex-players a lot more. So it's more than tactics and coaching and stuff like that. We're like, oh, we know and we love him, so it should be him kind of a deal. And I actually don't like it as much when it's like ex-players, because I think it kind of like clouds the judgment, because you can't separate you won't be able to separate the manager Xavi from the player Xavi and like really be able to evaluate. Whereas we have no other connection to Slot, so we're only looking at him as, a coach and what he's doing there. So I think I want to ask over here. I know we were talking about it before we went on air. Classified looks like he wants to put a bet on, so you should. Football Flashback will show up in no time. He's our betting guy in the chat usually. But do you anticipate? Doesn't look like it right now. Classified says Xavi will connect more with the fans, only because I think he was a player. What do you think, Adri? Because I think you know a bit more about the whole Real Madrid ordeal. I only occasionally, if a Real Madrid game is on, I'm like, is Arda playing? And that's the only reason I will watch. Otherwise, I'm just like, and Trent is not playing? Yes. And then I just move on. I'm vindictive asshole like that. So those are like 2 things I look at and move.
I know. I mean, it obviously he will connect more with us. I mean, that's obvious, and it will be great to see like Legend coming back to home and stuff. But no, I just said, like, I'm sticking with Slot. I'm definitely backing him. And if it's being like hard for Slot just to stick everything and just not to find a plan, because I'm sure he has a plan, but like to make it work, why is gonna be easier for Xavi? When probably we have the same situation. He's just trying to move the pieces and just trying to figure it out. He's thinking, I'm gonna say something kind of controversial, but I don't know if he's seeking to win something this season, but like maybe thinking of the future, because I think he's kind of like sure he's not going anywhere.
Okay.
And that's because they're having a conversation back that we don't have idea, obviously. So I think he won't go to Liverpool, but yeah, we will like, I don't know, eventually. He's super young, so eventually it will be nice to have him. And he expressed like his desire to eventually go back to the Reds, but not now.
Well, now that he went back to Madrid and that didn't work out, he was like, I would love to go back to the Reds too, kind of thing. But yeah, I would like to go back anyway. Glock says he's gone if you don't win anything, I'm assuming is what he's trying to say. I don't know about that. I think I'm more agreeing with Adri, Gary. This looks more a long-term build that they kind of knew, maybe didn't expect this much of a drop-off when they added so many players and new players and stuff. But this almost looks like building a new team. It's going to be painful, but this is the guy to take us there. And I know a month and a half ago or 2 months ago, I guess, it looked like, well, this is not being built anywhere and he's not going to get a chance. But I guess my only concern is, have the fans, and I blame the fans for this, not Slots, brought it to a point where he's kind of like going into a no-win situation. Because when he wins, it's like, well, he should win. Look at all these guys we signed. And if he doesn't win, we're like, why isn't he not winning? So has he come to a point where he's kind of, unfortunately, we forced him to paint himself to a corner, and it's a no-win. But mind you, would the club even give a damn?
I think, Adri's dead right, like, about bringing people back. I don't think it doesn't make sense. Like, if you look at, just to go quickly to Xabi Alonso before we go on, like, Xabi Alonso wasn't an overly aggressive, like, emotional player as far as getting the fans going and everything else. He would smash people in challenges, but he wouldn't, and he'd spray balls around, but he wasn't overly emotional. And I think the problem with him, and I think maybe this is why, not necessarily failed at Madrid, this isn't the reason why, but he got put on a pedestal straight away. It was like, right, he's won the Bundesliga, get him in. Like, and then he's been built up, and then Real Madrid have took him, and it's not worked out for him, which is sad. But like someone just popped up in the comments, then Madrid weren't playing great football underneath him. No. But again, you wonder, is that because at Leverkusen he probably had full autonomy over the club, whereas Real Madrid, for a fact that club is being run by whoever sat in the office upstairs, not by the guy on the field. So I think it would be silly to go, oh, we've got to get him, because I don't think he is the right person. And I think to go back to this, to get onto the actual question, like the American model that the owners have, they treat it very much like a baseball model. The Red Sox owners, whenever Liverpool are in a position and look like they're going to do something, the club throw money at them. Now, listen, it hasn't worked out this season because of injuries and because of the timing of everything. But we weren't expected to win the league last year. Yeah. So that was, and listen, through fine margins and I really think Slot carried on a lot of the trends from Klopp last year, which got us where we got us, and we had the players, and that midfield was bedded in after a season. So I think it would be outrageous to say, well, we've got to get rid of him and get somebody else in. I think this season is a rebuild, and I would completely agree with Adri when I say, if we finish fourth this season and have a decent run in the Champions League, that's good enough for this season, because that would have been good enough last season. And people will lose their minds about, oh, we've signed all these players, we've done this. But the reality of it is, like, look at the reality. Lost the manager that's been there for years. We've got a new guy in who managed to carry on the traditions to get us through last season, which then inspires the club to buy all these players. But they're probably looking at, listen, if we're talking about this in this time next year, then it's a different conversation, because now you've had the time. And I would say that, ironically enough, probably by October or November of next season, or this year, if the things aren't happening, well, now it's a conversation. But I don't think at the moment, I think there's no way we're pressing the panic button now. And I would be comfortable as a Liverpool fan who has seen us be shite for many years. I would be comfortable with a top four finish and a half decent run in the Champions League. And I think that'll be enough for us this year. And I know I don't want to, again, you say sound controversial, but listen, if we can sneak a win in something, it'd be brilliant. But again, I think given the season we've had, we've got to ride this season out, and then hopefully next year you're going to get the true reflection of how this squad is going to look.
Yeah, I mean, I like 100%. I agree to everything you said, especially about like the whole Slot thing. I think it is a different conversation. It's too early to make those conversations. I don't even know how we were having these conversations, Douglas, but those conversations are always there. I mean, if you're waiting for it, I guess, to make like a narrative. I do think more time is needed, number one, and it's been kind of unlucky. We forget the Jota thing that we got to keep in mind. This was like tough season with not a proper summer in that sense in terms of like training and everything like that. Obviously the injuries, late incomings. I think anybody who criticized the squad now and FSG was not saying that 30 minutes before the gay thing went down, because if that happens, everybody said it was a perfect summer. So it's all now people complaining about the squads are kind of like now complaining about it after the fact, because nobody was complaining about it going into the system over there. Douglas says the American model has killed us. I mean, if by killing, winning 2 titles in the last 5 years is killing, kill me every day. I mean,
winning the I don't know if I agree with that one. The American model under Hicks and Gillette killed us.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not the country, the passport.
FSG aren't taking money out of the club. And listen, I'm not trying to, everyone's got an opinion, so I'm not going to start getting in an absolute rage baiting war with people online. But look at the moments where they've backed us. They backed us with Alisson and Van Dijk. We went and won the Champions League. Like, they backed us with players. Like, whenever Liverpool have been in a position, and there's been seasons when we've took the hit, you know? And so, I don't know about that one. But that's, again, everyone's opinion is their own, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. Okay, let's do this weekend real quick as we wrap up over here. Having said all this, Adri, what do you expect out of this weekend against Burnley at home?
Well, I mean, again, don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's Burnley. So, and just,
I like how you did that.
well, they're in relegation right now, you know? So it's just, I do, and we have, besides Bradley, that we had that fortunate situation. I think we're in a good position to win this game. This weekend. I trust the team for this match for sure, definitely, and I think it's gonna be interesting. The fact that we don't have Bradley or Salah, to see what is gonna be Slot's movements right now.
Yeah.
You know, and with the Chiesa situation is starting, that it didn't work the way that maybe all of us we were thinking. So I think it's gonna be a good moment to just like, or definitely set up a team like a starters, maybe Fulham 11 starters, or what was the one before, Leeds and Fulham. I think it was just pretty similar. And I like that, especially for the midfield,
Yeah.
that it's been a little bit like tricky. And you were asking me about like it's like of confidence, or you know, I think we should like keep an eye on them in this game, especially more than the back line or the guys in front, but like the midfield. So I'm confident for the game, and I'm just looking forward to see what is he's gonna do with the midfield more than
Yeah, see, that's
anything.
interesting you say that, because we went back and forth. So I'll take that from you, Gary. I'll ask you that, because we went a lot of back and forth. I was like abandoned on an island with my theories for this weekend for the right wing that Adri brought up, because you don't have Bradley. Obviously, you don't have Mo. He's playing the semifinal later today. Hate to root against him, but we need him back ASAP at the same time. But yeah, I mean, Ozan says who go back is a huge boost. I think you see them. I really like them getting the 30 minutes before this game, going into this game, especially the way they finished it. For the right side, Gary, we were going back and forth on, do you play Frimpong as right back and Szoboszlai in front of him, or do you do a slot where Szoboszlai is the right back and Frimpong plays more advanced?
I'd play Gomez right back and play Frimpong right wing.
Okay.
That's what I would do. But I love
Joe.
Joe
Who are you
Gomez.
benching, I guess? So, like, who's your 11 then?
So you go, I hate Kirkes. I would go, but again, I can't. He does me head in. He's not there yet. He needs time to just get himself going.
I was pretty good
But
against
why?
Arsenal.
Why?
Personally.
I just don't. I don't think he's allowed the freedom. So he's second guessing himself quite a bit.
Yeah, true.
So I think he's getting himself in situation. He's very good on recovery, if you notice, but he gets himself in some absolutely crazy situations because I just don't think he's sure of his positioning or his decision making. But I think if we just let him go, then he's got a chance. But maybe that's something that's getting built into his game. It's probably okay. So a left back of any distinction, right? Okay.
Robertson played. I don't say Robertson plays twice. It's going to have to be.
No, you're right.
No.
Kirkers, Van Dijk, Konate, Gomez, McAllister, Gravenberg, Soboslai, Frimpong on the right as a true winger. Maybe Viet starts on the left because he likes to do that, and then he drifts him in, and then he play Ekitike up front.
So you bench Gakpo and Jones, basically, right?
Yeah.
Those guys on the bench. Okay. Agree with that, Adri? You're sold? I worry about putting, I know everybody's putting Gomez as right back in an ideal scenario, but man, I worry about throwing all your healthy center backs to the pitch at the same time. That's my paranoia.
Yes.
That's true.
That's true. And I am excited about like the Beers Ekitike situation. Really excited. Like not because of the goal, because I trust those guys. Like I'm like, I have a good feeling. I love the signings of those, and they're just like slowly, just like Kerkez, showing why we bought them. you know?
I don't disagree with you. I just think that Kirkes got thrown in. Like Andy Robert, I argue about this all the time. Andy Robertson had 3 months before he started playing.
Yes.
And when he came in, he was good. But then Kirkes was just like, right, go on, off you go, lad.
Yeah.
Alexis, think about we could have seen. Yeah, that would be. My head would explode if I saw Nunez and Kirkes on the same team on the pitch at the same time.
Oh my God!
I think that's a bit disrespectful to Kirkes. I do think he's a good player. I just don't think he's found it yet. Whereas Nunez was just an absolute loose cannon, money.
Yeah, you know what the bad thing is? I thought I was done with Nunez. Like yesterday, there were rumors about Nunez going to Fenerbahce and stuff, and literally like. I had a mini stroke because I was like, no, please, no. Like, what was that scene from The Office? No, God, no.
Oh.
Here's an interesting one for you. I've got to run in a second, but just to throw this grenade in before I leave. I don't know if you've spoken about this. Do you know Harry Wilson's on a free agent at the end of the season?
Don't do that. I don't know. Like Wilson, and like, is he one of those guys who's really good? Good
is he good on Fulham or would he? Because he was brilliant. He was brilliant as a youngster at Liverpool. I seen him a couple of times in the academy at Liverpool, and he was a talent, but ever so slight, like small. But is he the type of player that you could maybe set up something with him now, where he comes back in the summer, or do you think he's just done? Like he's done with Liverpool, he wants to move on and do his own thing. But for someone like Harry Wilson, who's as effective as he has been, to be on a free transfer in the summer, would that be like a no-brainer for Liverpool to try and get him back?
We talked about this, that Divock Origi is also
stop it.
I think Wilson is one of those guys that you can be good for Fulham, playing against teams, playing totally differently against Fulham. But then you come to Liverpool and then you're not as good playing against the low block, and you kind of get exposed and become a lot more average. I think that's the problem there. That's the problem with Nunez, for example. You can be great in a team that fits you, where you have space and stuff, and then you come to Liverpool, you're like, holy cow, they're all in the box. What are we going to do, kind of a thing? And that's when I think it shows up. You were about to say something, Adri. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm thinking about Harvey Elliott, like speaking of like transfers and all this thing. I don't know why it's not been like hardly considered to take him back from Aston Villa. Why?
I don't get. I mean, it's up to Villa. I think I just saw that they sold Malen or they loaned Malen with a buy option or something like that to like AC Roma. So I don't know if that means they're opening up a spot or what else they're doing over there. I thought it was odd that they would send someone, especially with the run that they're in with the Champions League and stuff, unless they're making a move. And I don't know if that's Elliott's. That's interesting that we haven't forced them to do something. I guess you guys, it's like Villa, you guys are paying the wages, so whatever kind of a thing. But you would think, I think this current system fits Harvey a lot better than the old system, but they must know something that we don't. And let's face it, Villa was, he's not that good. And they didn't shuffle like finances around to make room for Elliott. So maybe we're rating him a lot higher than he should be. But on the way out, score predictions. Adri, let's start with you.
I'm gonna go with 2-1
2-1 after you were like, it is Burnley.
And I had the score all the time in my mind, and I was like, I know I'm gonna say something, and Tim is gonna be like, "What the nerve?"
Gary, what do you have? I know
Honestly-
he said Burnley, but you were just at the Wolves game where everybody was like, it's just Wolves.
So that, honestly, I had 2-1 written down, so I'm going 2-1. And it'll be one of the it'll be one of those games where we score 2. I think, and then we'll be like, nice one, this is us. And then they'll score, and it'll just be full panic attack for 40 minutes.
God, let's stop doing this. Yeah, Jamie 1-0 win says I don't want that either. Alan says 3-1, the Timucin special. I'm going with a slot special, 2-0. Make it 2-0, and kind of like opposite to what Gary's theory is. We actually do not concede, but we're bored to death, and people still complain, is my guess, probably, because
either one I would take. 100%.
Yeah, true. I just want the 3 points right now. I feel like the performances are getting better, but if you're not getting the 3 points and the results, I don't think it holds as much like value in that sense. So, but it'll be interesting to see. So, thanks a lot for everybody in the chat. There are literally 32 live viewers right now. So hopefully there's like 32 thumbs up over here. But if not, please do the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. The gang will be back tomorrow night. The Bald Crew will be on live tomorrow night. So do join in for the Thursday podcast. And then we'll be back Friday morning over here. Same time, same place. Have a great week, everybody. And we'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Cheers.